Hey guys, so I'm making this video to respond to the question that I saw inside of a Facebook group titled, "Can I open a bookkeeping business?" Now, this is a very, very great question. I get asked this question a very large amount. Especially when I'm talking to people inside the comments, when people are messaging me on Facebook, they always ask, Bryce, can I start a bookkeeping business? And my answer to them is always yes, because I have just so much confidence in this business model. I started mine about 7 years ago. Um, and I tell every single person I meet, like, this is the best business for a beginner to start. If you're trying to make, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 a year, and it's your first time in business, you have the highest chance to do that in a bookkeeping or monthly accounting services business. Okay. Now we can just talk a little bit more about why, but just to kind of fully answer the question, I know that question is like, can I open the business? I think the real deeper question that someone's actually asking is, Bryce, will I be successful when I open my business? And the answer is yes. It just depends on how much success do you want and what are you willing to do and how much work you're willing to put in order to go and reach this level of success. Because I do believe that anyone can do it. I just don't think that most people are willing to, do what it takes. Now let's kind of go into this. Okay, so number one, so like for example, my student JT, when he came to me, like he had been working in the same job for about 7 years, and they had not promoted him for about 6 of those 7 years. So he wasn't really making as much money as what you should be at the age that he was, and he was so frustrated with it. They were overworking him. He was just never had any time to relax. He wanted to go to opening day at like Fenway, because he lives in Iowa, but he wanted to go to Fenway just to see the Red Sox play on opening day, because he hadn't been able to do it in so long. And for him, like, he was just hungry. He was so hungry, and he was willing to put in the work. And it wasn't that he was like smarter than anybody else. He probably wasn't smarter than you are watching this, but he was willing to go and put in a little bit of work, be a little bit uncomfortable for a short period of time. And now he makes about between $12,000 to about $15,000 per month. It's been like probably 2 or 3 months since I last spoke to him, because he was in the mentorship program, a short time ago. But it's just one of the easiest models for a beginner to start. It was his first time ever starting a business. He had never ran a business before. He didn't know how to do sales. He didn't know how to talk to people. He didn't really know how to price his service. But what I was able to do was just give him his pricing, help him with his marketing, and then show him how to do sales. And now he's at $15,000 every single month. Now, if you want some help growing your business, like you don't know what to do, you don't really know where to start, but you want some help and you know that you want to be successful, go on ahead and click on the link below inside of the description or the comments below, and it's going to take you to a link to book a call with me to see exactly how I can help you go and reach that goal, whatever it might be. Now, just kind of back to that. The second thing is number two, okay? So in addition to how successful will you be, you need to think about like what's the risk level? A lot of people are really afraid of failure, and it's generally because they're not thinking in terms of what they need to do. This is not like starting a construction business. This is not like starting like a brick and mortar business where you have to go and pay, $2,000 a month for your office space, and we have to buy heavy machinery. You have to get like a business loan of $50,000 to $100,000. It's not a business like that. This business is more about relationship capital. Okay. Now, the more relationships you have when you start out, the easier it is for you to grow. But it's not like a traditional business where you have to go and invest huge amounts of money. So the amount of failure is a lot lower in this. For us, it's more about like some people just end up like, not kind of quitting because they just want to do something else or just wasn't for them. But it's not like a hard fail where you run out of money, you're destitute, you're on the street, you're not. And then I know I'm laughing, but just kind of cartoonalizing it. It's not like that. So in order to make sure you can succeed a lot faster, it really comes down to you being able to build relationships with business owners that are doing between 6, 7, and 8 figures per year. Okay, now generally the closer you get to that 8-figure, the more money you'll be able to charge them, and the less clients you'll need in order to go and hit your financial goal. So let's say, for example, your goal is to go and get to, we'll say 10 grand a month, 120 a year, right? If you go and you get a client for 5 grand a month, you only need 2 clients. If you get clients for $2,000 per month, you need 5. If it's only $1,000 a month, that's 10. Now, for most people watching, maybe you've tried to start a bookkeeping business and you've never been able to get a client that high. I really encourage you to go and book a call because my students are just growing. For example, like Melissa. Melissa has not given out a quote for less than $1,500 since she got started probably about 70 days ago. Every single business that she speaks to has at least 7 figures. And it just comes down to like the targeting and the way that you're doing your marketing. So you're speaking specifically to the right businesses so that they start coming to you. Now, kind of even going back to failure, a lot of the times what happens and what causes most people to kind of like fizzle out of the industry is that they only work with small clients. So they're working with people and the people only paying like $150 to $200 a month. That's not where you want to be. You want to be more on the $1,000, $500, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 per month. That's a lot more fun. There's a lot less problems. You get to have deep relationships with your clients. And generally, the more money they're paying you, the longer that they're going to keep you on the payroll. That when you have a small person, they're always looking for like the next discount. You're kind of needy. They're not really fun. So if you go the bigger route first, it's a lot more fun because I have mentors and just different people inside the industry where they said they've worked with the same clients for the last 20 years. Okay. Even talking about risk, if you can have a client for 20 years, that's a very safe business model. You just have to be very selective with which client you get in the beginning. Cut off the ones that are like the lowest ones. I know it might be hard, but just focus on who are the big guys that want to pay me the most money, who are even a 7-figure company. Like those guys can pay you $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month if you know how to go and bring the value. Okay, so that comes down to risk. It's a very safe business model. It just comes down to you really being selective and targeted with who you bring on and which clients you take on and you choose to take on. Number 3, okay, so how to get started. So some people who are asking this question, maybe they don't really know what to do to get started. I know when I got started with my accounting and bookkeeping business, like I didn't know what to do. I tried to go to like networking events. I tried to hand out like flyers. I was like cold calling people, and it was really, really hard for me to get any traction. So I'm just going to kind of break that down. Like what is the shortcut? What is the faster way to go and get clients a lot easier? Now, why am I doing this? I'm making videos like this because I want to make sure that you can start really knowing exactly what to do and getting some clarity with what it takes to grow your business. Some of you guys are going to be able to take what we're talking about inside this video and you're going to be able to get some pretty good returns from it. What I do ask is that you remember who's the person who showed you how to do that. So then you come back, we actually work together inside of the mentorship program. I can walk with you side by side and make sure that not only can you get, a good level of success with these videos, we can actually take you fully to your goal in the shortest time period possible. Because think about it like this: if these free videos got you to $3,000 or $5,000 a month, okay, wouldn't it make sense to go work with me directly to go get to more like the $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per month, whatever your goal might be? If that's you, go ahead and click on the link either above or below. But how to go and get started. Okay, so number 1, if you don't know how to do bookkeeping, you should probably, start learning. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that show you the basics of bookkeeping. You can go and get QuickBooks certified, which they basically have like a certification course where they show you how to use their software and gives you a little bit of a basic training inside of bookkeeping. Now, the key here is you just need to be like, at a really good base level. You don't need to be advanced. You don't need to have 20 years of experience. That's a fallacy. You just need to be functional. You need to be able to do the work. Now, assuming that you can do the work, you need to go and do 2 things. So most people have at least $30,000 to $40,000 a year inside of their existing network. So what you need to do is first look through either your Facebook friends list, look through your LinkedIn or your Instagram friends list, and look and see who owns a business. Like, which of your friends owns a business? You might not have talked to them in like the last 30 years. Who owns a business? Now, once you've identified that list, you need to go to that person. You need to literally just re-spark the friendship. Hey, how's it going? Long time no speak. What are you up to nowadays? They're going to say, oh, I'm doing this magical business. It's blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh. It sounds like it's booming. Next thing you say is, who's keeping your books? Or do you have someone doing your QuickBooks? Or do you have a bookkeeper? Generally, if they're your friend and they don't have somebody doing it, they're going to say, no, I don't. And then you're going to say, oh, do you want to do a call to see if I can help you? I'm sorry, there's 2 things they'll say. They'll say, 1, either I don't have someone doing it, or 2, I'm doing it myself. Either one of these are really great responses. Then you just say, hey, do you want to see if I can help you out? most of the time they say yes. Okay. Now, a lot of times what happens, like most people get kind of scared and they don't want to go and talk to their friend and family, because sometimes we've been taught, not to sell to friends. I know for me, I struggled with that for a long time, like not selling to friends. But when I got started, I needed the money because I quit my job cold turkey, and I had to do what I had to do in order to go and get my business to a certain level. And that's just kind of the point that you might have to get to, where it's just like, as I told you earlier, anyone can start it. It's who sticks with it. So that's the first level. Now, even though you're going to friends, that's not going to be what you're doing forever. It's just the easiest way to go get some money. The second thing that you can do is next, you go and look for CPA firms. Okay, so there's going to be CPA firms or established bookkeeping businesses, and ask for two things. The first thing you need to ask for is referrals. The second thing you need to ask for is, can you do some subcontracting work? Personally, for me, I like the subcontracting route better because generally if they're established, they have a lot of business and they have a lot of excess work. So you go in there, you charge them a pretty good rate. Some people like to charge package, some people like to charge hourly. For subcontracting, if it's your first one, I recommend you go hourly. Whenever I work with someone, I always give them like a pricing calculator that shows them exactly how much to charge and a flat rate, so you can just say what the monthly price is to the person. But if you don't have that and you're just starting from scratch, like there's nothing wrong with going hourly if you can charge the hourly rate that's going to get you to your goal. For example, you need to take a step back and say, okay, so how much money do I actually want to make in a year with my business? Let's say, for example, that you want to make $100,000 in a year. Okay, next thing you need to do is you need to divide 100,000 by 2080. Okay, that's the number of hours that you would work if you worked, every work week for 40 hours a week. Okay, that's going to be about $50 per hour. 1,000 divided by 28 is about 50. Okay. That means if you charge at least $50 an hour, you're going to hit your goal when you filled up your total workable hours. The place where most people struggle is when they come in hourly, they generally charge, they undercharge and they underquote what they should be, and they only charge like $20 an hour. Okay, that's not going to get you to your goal, and that is undercharging. If instead you know that you want to hit about 100 and you charge 50, well, then you need to be trying to charge actually 60, 70, 80, however much you can get from the person, as long as you can get above 50. Everything else above that's gravy, but you're going to ensure that you actually reach your goal. Now, that's how I'd price it. That's how I'd go, okay? First, look for who owns a business and go see if you can help them out. Second, you need to go to every CPA firm that you possibly can. A lot of them are going to say no, or a lot of them are going to ignore you. That's okay. You need to expect that. You need to expect that people are either going to be really busy, or they're going to say no, or they just won't really respond to you, okay? That doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong, and that does not mean that you're getting rejected. That just means that it's not the right time for that person. And you need to start thinking about like the word no, instead of it being like this harsh rejection. Instead, you need to think of it like next opportunity. They just helped you move to the next opportunity. And when you find that and you get the right, partnership, a lot of these guys have 20, 30 hours worth of work per week. Okay, so go get to it, and that's how you can start your bookkeeping business. Okay. Now, once again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. My name is Bryce Tubbs. If you have any questions, you can either write them inside the comments below, or go and send me a message on Facebook to my personal profile. I'll link it inside the description, just in case you don't know what my profile is, so you can go check me out. And just go connect with me there. I know on YouTube it's really hard for us to connect because there's not a messaging platform, but that's the best way where you can go follow me, see my life updates, and just learn a lot more there. So I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.